Unanimous consent to lift the quorum call.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I'd like to bring to the attention of my colleagues Senate Bill 1463. This is not a topic, the bill topic is not one that my colleagues have not heard me speak about numerous times before, both in the Veterans Affairs Committee, where I'm a member, yesterday in the Appropriations Subcommittee, markup of veterans and military construction, where I'm a member, and many times on this Senate floor. The issue is the Department of Veterans Affairs and its interpretation of the Choice Act. My colleagues will remember we passed the Choice Act back in August of last year. The important provisions for today's conversation is that what that law says is if a veteran lives more than 40 miles from a VA facility, the Department of Veterans Affairs must provide services if the veteran chooses at a location in his or her home community. And unfortunately, the Department of Veterans Affairs has interpreted it in a way that eliminates the opportunity for a veteran who happens to live within 40 miles of a facility, even though that facility doesn't provide the service the veteran needs, from accessing that care. And so Senate Bill 1463 corrects that problem, indicates that the 40-mile rule applies only in the circumstance where a veteran facility provides the service the veteran needs. A provision that this Senate has voted on previously. In fact, in our budget, it was adopted 100 to 0 on a roll call vote. So I think what I'm presenting is something that is very non-controversial. There is no fiscal consequence to current spending. This was money that was appropriated in the Choice Act and should be something that can pass, which on a unanimous consent request, which I will make momentarily. The question may be, why are you doing this? It's because certainly this is important and needs to be corrected quickly. And this bill, if adopted today by unanimous consent, will go to the House of Representatives where it can be considered. I also hope that what happens here is that the Department of Veterans Affairs, which I believe can correct this problem on its own volition, will do so. And when they see the Senate pass this legislation, hopefully by unanimous consent, they will respond and solve this problem immediately. There is no reason that this can't be done, and I could outline that explanation. There's no reason this can't be done by the department. I would outline that explanation of why that's true by reading the language of the bill, the Choice Act, and by the report language that confirms our position. So, Mr. President, before I ask unanimous consent, I also would like to thank my colleague, in fact, a couple of colleagues, a number of them, but two of them in particular, and especially the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, who has worked side by side with me to make certain that this legislation ultimately becomes law. And in fact, the chairman and the ranking member, the senator from Connecticut, Senator Blumenthal, have committed to me that on every occasion, should the House not pass this bill, let me say this this way, three options that can occur. We pass this by unanimous consent today, the House picks it up, passes it, sends it to the President signs it. That'd be a great outcome. Secondly, we pass this bill and the Department of Veterans Affairs realizes they can do this on their own. That'd be a great outcome. And thirdly, if neither one of those things happen, the chairman has committed to me that he will work side by side with all of us on the Veterans Committee and other senators to make sure at every opportunity this language that is included in this bill is included in every bill related to Veterans Affairs that's on its way to the White House, that the chairman will work with me to make sure that this language is enacted into law. And I would ask, through the chair, I would ask the senator from Georgia, Senator Isaacson, if what I'm indicating is accurate, and to have him explain his thoughts on this topic in the few moments that we have.
Mr. President.
The senator from Georgia.
Responding through the chair to the gentleman from Kansas, his language is precisely the language that was introduced by the committee here in the Senate, which we were going to send to the House, which got lost in the negotiations on the extension of the authorization in the House. The technical difficulty is the only reason it wasn't already a part of it. I wholeheartedly endorse everything the senator from Kansas said and pledge to him that if, for some reason, the House does not adopt the language when it goes to the House, we will take it up immediately when it comes to in the Senate when we have our next markup meeting in the Veterans Affairs Committee and take care of it. And I want to personally acknowledge Senator Bennett and Senator Gardner for all the work they've done. We went to Kansas together. We went to to Colorado together to visit the VA hospital, which is the genesis of where this motion comes from. They've been both champions for this, and I'm glad we're reaching a resolution. And the motion that will be made shortly to adopt the House position on the authorization will see to it that that hospital in Denver remains open until we can solve the problems that we have in the Denver hospital. And I thank the senator for Kansas for his cooperation, and I commend him on his language, and I confirm everything that he said as being accurate, true, and correct.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, I thank the chairman and appreciate very much his commitment to veterans. This is not about a specific piece of legislation. It's about keeping our commitment to those who served our country always, every day, but especially here in advance of Memorial Day. And therefore, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of S. 1463 introduced earlier today.
The clerk will report.
S. 1463, a bill to amend the Veterans Access, Choice, and Accountability Act of 2014 and so forth.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection.
Then, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the bill be read a third time and passed, and the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table.
Is there objection? Without objection.